Matoke. Let's keep on Matoke.
How you do it? Stop calling people Matoke. You're calling people banana. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, Black Newbusy?
Sure, Lily.
Are you flexing too easy?
Okay, Lily.
Black newborn.
Are you coming from me?
Are you flexing too strong?
Did you hear what I said?
What?
I wanted to say, you coming from me. I said, are you coming from me?
From you. I would never come for you, Black. Not in the way you think. Like in that negative way.
Never.
Never. Because I'm a perfect person.
Wow.
Yes. Hello, everybody who's listening.
Come back to On the Couch with the NUBONS.
On the couch with the newborns.
Hey.
That was good.
Short dog.
Yes.
We're eventually getting there.
Yeah, but I feel like it's starting to sound the same. But it's
I don't
okay.
know.
It's
I don't
okay.
know.
It's
Sure.
okay. It's okay. We're here. So a song came to mind the other day.
Every other day.
You know, and once again, it was a song we sang. Were we kids? I don't know. Like early teenagers, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
And I was like, shorty, say what's your price?
You know,
Just to back it up. You can, Hold my eyes. Now let's say
There's
you
so much-
owe me back like you owe your rent.
you know what, for me, obviously, the lyrics are dodge.
Very.
The only thing about that song I hated was the fact that Nas was on it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yes.
Nasir Jones.
Like you of all people.
Out of all, are you
Are you this guy now?
I'm like,
is this
bro,
you?
Nas, you, like, I'm pretty sure you have money somewhere. But this?
Like genuine. I was like, vele, gave us
Pony. Pony.
Gangster. I'm like, Nas, bro.
Nas, bro. I was like, Nas, what are you doing on this song, Buffett?
It's just a man.
I was like, no, bro.
It's right.
Sis, Nas.
Owe
Not
me
you.
back like you owe your rent.
But here's the thing.
Owe me back because it's money I spent.
Oh, Shorty. I'm like, Shorty, even when you're not that valuable, Shorty.
They asked her, say what's your price?
Yeah, hold my chain.
Just to back it up, like to prove that whatever your price is.
So you're worth a chain, Shorty.
No, the chain is like a cherry on the...
Even if the chain is 10 million. Kabanga sengithi bambi chain into ngikutshengise ukuthi I'm coming back.
Isn't that like a thing in like the States? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like
Sister.
giving the girl the chain is, I don't know. I don't know what I'm
Sister.
talking about. It's stuff that I saw on like trash TV. So I don't know if it's like that's a thing. But that song is not okay.
And we sang that
It's
song.
100% prostitution.
Yeah. SABC played that song
Yes.
during the day.
Yes.
Those are the songs you were supposed to play at night.
Yeah.
You know when they played that, they had that playlist that started at like, what was it, 11 till
Yes.
4 a.m. or
After
something.
studio mix.
That's when you should have played that song. Shawty.
Owe me back like you owe your rent.
Do you know the pressure of owing rent? Do you know that, like that guy's a pimp? Do you know the pressure
so
of, imagine if somebody is like, yo, girl, you know the pressure of owing rent. That's the pressure I want you to feel on me.
So disgusting.
Girl, you know SARS is
Yeah.
coming for you.
And it's tax season, bruh.
The pressure that you feel from your landlord and the tax man,
Ish.
I think
Yeah.
that's the pressure you need to feel.
And just to back it up.
And then you're going
I'm
to turn
gonna
around
hold your
and
eyes.
twerk and say, thank you. The pressure of feeling.
Oh my gosh, the pressure's getting worse.
No, man.
No, dude.
Anyway.
And like it reminds me of, what is that show? Was it Reality Check? I don't know, but there was an episode where they had like a whole thing of how like this boy was dating this girl and took her out for like the movies, whatever.
Yeah.
Then at the end he was like, but you owe me. And she was like, ha. And then there was like a whole like, teaching moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, Nas, you need to watch Reality Check.
Nas, I know you watch our podcast.
He definitely watches our podcast.
You need to repent.
Nasir Jones.
Especially now, in your wise old age, you need to repent. To us, your fans, who were really crushed, it's like seeing your dad at a club where you're like,
Ew.
and not like your dad who's old, but your dad who's wise, who's, you know, very learned, who like introspects and gives you like deep insights about the world. And you're like, why are you sitting in the club with Genuine poning and twerking next to you? When's that, Mara?
Owe me back like you owe you. Owe me back like you owe your rent. Anyway.
As a Nas fan, I was cut. Anyway.
I know, it was a lot, but it's okay. We just we ignored it and moved on to other things.
Yeah, no.
So we're talking about money today.
Yes.
Money.
Come on now.
And I just think it's very interesting, the whole money chat when it comes to how people, like in the dating scene. Yep. Obviously, we've been out of the dating scene for a long time, but we have single friends. We're
still
online.
Date.
Yeah, we date each other.
Come on,
that was spicy.
Why?
Am I your girlfriend?
No, you're not my girlfriend.
But like people who like single people date and like the whole money thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, how that translates into the realities when you are like now building a home. And I know there's like very different views on this whole thing. What triggered this chat was Dwayne Wade's and Gabrielle Union's podcast interview and you know the whole 50-50 thing. And I was like, okay, so if people don't know what went viral was them say, and I mean like, yeah, what went viral was, I think it was Gabrielle's comments or his comments, but what they were saying was that in their household they split stuff down the middle. When they bought their new house, you know, she came with half the money, he came with half the money, and then I think they split 50-50 with the daughter.
Everything. And
no, it wasn't everything actually. It was the daughter, the house, and there was a third thing I can't remember. But if there's like, if his family needs something, like him, that's his ndaba. Her family needs something, that's her ndaba. And then I don't know, I think you had said something about like if one wants to do a holiday.
Yeah.
I don't know like how true. I didn't watch the whole podcast. No, I just read the highlights.
Yeah, I was watching. It was Dwayne on.
Oh, you watched it?
No, I don't know. I didn't. First of all, I just saw headlines and I'm like,
okay.
So anyway, but I from time to time, I'm like I'm a visitor.
Okay.
Of, Club Shay Shay, and Shannon Sharp had Dwayne on the thing, and then obviously the 50-50 thing came up.
Yeah.
And so then he explained what the thing is. And I was like, yeah, I'm sang Ireland. This guy has money, Lillian.
No, he's like, yeah.
Me?
He's crazy money. Like Gabrielle is a pauper compared to the money he has. And she's moneyed as well.
If I was a woman's, Dwayne, if you want to say, this is my house.
Yeah, because that was the thing I think that went viral where he had said, you're not going to do whatever this in the house I pay for or my house, something like that.
Yeah,
and she was like,
where he said in an argument, this is my house. Or this is not going to happen in my house.
And she was like,
and
what?
then she was like, you will never, ever say that again. If you ever dare say that to me. So I'm like, girl. Mvana, if I was a woman's boy, say that every time. Ngifuna Bentley after you say this is yes, Baba, it's your house. Ngicela Bentley. Yes, Baba, it's your house. Can I have a solocation to Mauritius?
Can I though?
You can't. Yes, Baba, it's your house. Marangela Ama Jordan I-10 just for Monday.
Ish.
I wanna wear them every hour on a Monday. Then I have pair 10 Jordans for Tuesday.
That's like Jordans are like 5K or 6.
That's what I'm saying. If Baba has to say it's my house, Endoda say it all the anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Like I'm not here saying this is how people should conduct their marriages. Like it's your life, it's your marriage, and if you're good with it, that's fine, right? And I'm just like that would never like be a reality. Like for us, that could have never been a reality. But I think with the whole because the chat is like, obviously, online it's the, boss babe, whatever, but you also want a man who's going to provide and pay for stuff and, get stuff done. I don't know. And it's like, so I know the discourse a lot is like, okay, you want the man to like pay for everything, and like he must, to prove that he can provide, he must be paying for every single thing and you must never have to fork out anything, which I'm like, I don't know, like maybe because we got married really young, I'm like, who are these men that are just like paying for, because it's not just paying for dates, it's like he must pay for my weave, he must pay for my nails, he
athletes.
Yeah, at that point.
Basically.
So there's that aspect. And then this aspect of splitting things down the middle, which I'm also like, but guys, we're doing life. Like, so we go on a date and I pay for my half. Like, I don't know. And then to then see it translate in, I mean, they seem like happy people in a marriage where I'm like, what happens when one person is sick and can't work? Or one person's family has more needs than the other. Or like, and this is not a whole like, because I know when you get married, there's businesses and community property and outward accrua, what. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the living. So in my mind, I'm like, so the house in my mind, I'm like, so you're looking for a house and whatever house you find, you better be ready to pay half.
Yeah.
like that's.
Or obviously, let's say, I don't know how you would get but they have money, so you say they have the money up front. But let's say, you're not that moneyed. You have to get a loan.
Yes.
So that means you'd have to pay the loan back 50-50. And if you're an entrepreneur and that month you're sick.
Hey, dog.
And you can't meet installments.
If there's a lockdown, COVID. Where's your half, babes? I'm waiting for
I'm not sure you're a boss, babe. So somewhere inside your bossness, you need to find a way not to be sick.
Like you need to,
because that's what a real boss does.
Like, because this is an arrangement we have.
Yes,
and I think that's the part where I'm like, how realistic is that? And maybe like I'm like, maybe it's if you are earning in a certain income bracket, you can kind of do that. But in my mind, when I see us trying to build wealth or whatever, that feels like why would we do that? And maybe it's because we started, with like 3 cents to our name. Yeah. And it's like the idea of if I got more, it wouldn't be like, these are my bills and these are your bills. Because on a practical level, like how are you doing life? And I feel like there's like, is there not a level where you're unsafe? Like what I'm trying to say is like, is there not a level where you are as a partner, like I cannot flop at any point? I cannot have a rough month, a rough year.
Why would you even call yourself a partner?
But right? But that's what it is. It's the partnership.
Yeah, that's clearly not a partnership.
Yeah. It's not a partnership to us. And again, we're not saying this is right or wrong. It's just, are we? Maybe that's what we're saying.
Hey, girl.
It's not prescriptive. It's just what we think.
No, it's fine. Yeah. And the larger conversation is, So there's the rhetoric of saying that there's certain things in culture or in our lives that have always been there but don't work for the season or time or culture that we're in now, and so we need to change them, and that's fine. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, that applies to certain aspects of our lives and our culture that are fluid and are changing. But I think there's things where it's like, yeah, sure, there's certain things that have always just been there, and they probably there and are set up in a certain way because that's how that particular thing, and now we're talking about marriage, is actually going to help the human race flourish. And if we mess with this thing and how it's supposed to be set up, then it's going to impact our flourishing, right? And our moving forward as a people, as humanity, etc., etc. And I think marriage is one of those things where it's like, bro, we can say, we live in a different season, women can go be CEOs, whatever. Just fine. I don't have beef with that. I think go do your stuff. Ne?
Yeah.
But I'm like, now if we saying just because, corporate has opened up and life is different there, so we kind of take those same rules and then throw them into marriage, and I'm like, I don't think this thing was set up for that. If we mess with this thing, I think it's going to impact even some of the advancements that we've been able to achieve, let's say now in the workspace for women, etc.
Where now you can, there's, like women can get higher positions than they used to before, find there's places where there's not like as much equal pay, but those conversations are happening, and now it's like, actually, so the good stuff that's there now gets thrown out.
Yeah, and so for me, that's where the thing is, where I'm like, if we're going to call this thing apart, if we're going to call it a marriage, by definition, we're saying that there's a standard. By definition, we're saying that there's rules, there's a design, there's a makeup to what this thing is. And so we can't call it marriage and then try and change certain things about it just because the world around it has changed. I'm like, yeah, sure, right? Again, maybe at a time when women couldn't go work and flourish as much as you guys are working and flourishing now in terms of the workspace. Maybe, how there was a certain aspect that was affected in marriages.
Yeah.
But I think the definition of what a marriage is, even in that season, a big chunk of the elements that make a marriage were still there. And I think even now we shouldn't just change them because the culture around us is changing, because then it affects this thing, bro.
Yeah. And ultimately that definition is the two becoming one.
Yeah.
And joining, and two lives
are
headed in one direction, like a one.
Because by definition we're saying that I think my life is going to be better because you are in it, and vice versa. But if now you being in my life is posing challenges,
now I can't buy the house I want to buy.
Yeah.
Because you can't afford.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a clip on thing, and I'm taking too much of your shine.
My shine, no.
Yeah, I'm talking too much.
No, man, I need to wear one.
Come on now. I saw a clip where I think it was TD Jake's wife, and she was talking about how, I mean, she didn't say it, but she said it. That like she thinks this thing of saying your own vows is stupid, right? And that's why I want to be old, because like she's old.
So I want to know why did she say
old people?
It was stupid. Okay, cool.
Old people just have the luxury.
They're free, bro.
And
here's the thing: we look at old people and go, they don't know that they're being rude. No, they know. They know. They've earned it.
No.
And they're like, oh, you think I don't know what I'm saying? I know exactly what I'm saying. And just because you think I don't know what I'm going to say, I'm going to even say it even more.
Even more.
Oh no, she's just old. No, she's just free, though.
So she was saying. And I think the reason she was saying it is because when you write your own vows, and I don't think this applies, objectively and definitively,
right?
Because I've heard, and there's one person,
I know who you're talking about,
whose vows I was like, I think that should be included in the Bible, because I was like. Yes.
We didn't even write our own vows for creative people. We were just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
This works. It's not. What if it ain't broke? Don't fix it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let me not embarrass the person, but
no, it's cool.
I was like, yo, man, those vows were next level.
Yeah.
So she was saying,
Sarita. Sarita.
Yeah.
Sarita.
I don't know her name.
Sarita, bro.
Okay.
The first lady
of who?
Of the Potter's house.
Okay. Sorry, I know I'm also sidestepping, but there's a what does he coach, that dude? I think the Boston Celtics. Because obviously Imi Udoka, that's his name. After the Nia Long thing, he got fired.
Yeah.
So they replaced him. Anyway, so after it's a post-match interview, so they're asking the dude, how did you feel when when the royal family was in the
royal family?
Yeah. So, not Harry. Who's the other guy? Charles. No.
William?
William, yes. So how did you feel when the royal family was in the arena? And he's like, which royal family? Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Yay!
So then the
man of God.
So the reporter's like, no, Prince William and whoever, Kate, I don't know, their wife, were in the thing. And then he's like, oh, are they royalty to you? The only royalty I know is Jesus. I'm like,
Holy Spirit of the living God.
So that's what I'm saying to you. First lady of who?
Okay. Oh, that's what you're doing. Got it.
So she was saying, young people write their own vows. And she's saying what's undergirding that is this idea of romanticizing what marriage is going to be, you know. And I paraphrase, but it was to the extent where she's like, you know, somebody would say, I saw you walking on water towards me, you know, and she's just like, and you think that marriage is going to be like that. Like you're going to wake up and just see your husband walking on water towards you. And she's like, no, let's just stick to what the old vows are to have, to hold. Richer, poor, sickness, health, right? Because she's like, that sobers you up to what the reality of marriage is supposed to be. So so she says, you write your own vows because you know it's hard to keep quote unquote traditional old vows. And so you write your own because somewhere it's like, man, you know, if this thing doesn't work, which you'll be justified. Me, I signed up for the wife who's gonna walk on water. Now you're walking in mud. I'm not doing this though.
In my track suit.
In your track pants. You're walking in mud, girl. I don't want to do this, right? And so I'm saying she's right. I agree with her there. That if we, in our, you know, progressiveness, try and shake up the foundations of what marriage is, then we end up with what is not marriage. And that's what somebody also asked. I think it was Shay, if I'm not mistaken. But somebody in this whole 50-50 thing, then they asked, so why would you continue calling it a marriage?
Yeah.
Just call it something else because that's not what marriage is, right? And I'm like, yeah, dog.
It's a housemate who you like do stuff with.
Yeah. Right?
I think I say that because I'm like, yes, which I think we'll get to, like money conversations and disagreements and, you know, how a husband and a wife come together with however they've been brought up with money.
Yes.
Can often, I mean, I think it's one of the leading reasons for divorce. So I'm not minimizing how money issues can impact a marriage. But when I think personally, like let's say with us and a lot of the other couples that we know on a personal level, the stuff that where you're like, flip, I need this person is usually when like you down, you out. You've been retrenched or you sick or you're going through grief or you just... Like and for me,
you're suffering with black tax.
Dude, that's like a real thing.
Yeah.
Where I'm sitting there going like, you can have one side of the family where no, everyone's straight, and the other side is no, mom needs this, my brother needs this, and I can't be like, well, you need to make it work because when I married you, I married all of those people, and maybe that's just like because as Africans that's what it is, but I'm like, and maybe in other societies it's not that, but I'm even thinking like even in other societies where it's community based, like in Asia or whatever, that's like a big thing, like the family, you know. So in my mind I'm like, I just don't get how I could feel secure in a situation where it's my value is dependent literally on what's in my pocket,
what you bring
and what I bring, like in every other aspect. I go out and it's what do you do, what you're constantly in that thing of whether it's consciously or subconsciously trying to prove your worth. And in the city life, it's the what car you're driving, all of that stuff. And now I must come home and it must be like, hey, you know, what's going on? And this is not to say, and I guess this is where we can dive into that there shouldn't be an element of responsibility. Because while, you know, generations past where the man had the job opportunity, or even if they had the same job, he was earning more, whatever the case may be, we do know where there has been a lot of that kind of thing, like this is my house, right? And like all you do is clean and have kids here, like, you know, and then there's the financial abuse, right? So I can understand the need to assert yourself as a woman, and I do think it is, I personally, like as an individual, I don't think I could ever be like a housewife. Because that's just not my wiring, my upbringing, and also I want to work. Like I like working, I like doing stuff. Maybe I do it for a season, like I'm like but even then I'd probably have some passive something somewhere, right? Yeah. And so for me, I'm like, I think it is important to just like, you know, have your own account, have just for doing stuff, right? So, and that's just a personal preference. I know other people's like, dude, I tell my man I need 10K beginning of the month. He sends that thing and we move on.
Or we have a joint account.
Yeah,
sure.
But I'm sitting there going like, okay, so I do get the idea and how triggering it can be to hear someone say, and it's my house, this is my stuff, and but I think,
and we've seen situations like that, 100%. Bro. And then most of the time, women are left destitute, and just abandoned. Worse, abandoned with kids. Because I got tired of y'all being in my house, right? And I'm like, girl, we have a daughter. I'm like, girl, I want you to get married one day, but me, I'm not trying to set you up to go in there with no, education, with no, spirit of wanting to work.
way to earn a living.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this, because then it's like, oh, you're going in with, a backup plan in case the thing. I'm like, no, I want my daughter to stand just as an individual, as a human. Do I want her to get married? Yeah, but do I think that's what she's been called to? I don't know yet.
Yeah, so you can't assume.
Yeah. So I'm just setting her up to be
a functioning human in society.
Full human in society.
Yeah.
And if she gets married, I would not say to her, hey, girl, I think, drop what it is that unless she wants that.
Yeah.
Unless she wants that. And unless their agreement works out well, sure, whatever. Which is something that I think, because I know you wanted us to get into the responsibilities. And maybe let me let you lead us in there, because then I'm jumping the gun. But I'll circle back to the...
I kind of forgot where I was. So part of me was relieved that you, because I was like, I don't know how I got here. Yeah. What is my name? Where are we?
So maybe let's get into the practicality. So let me continue with my thoughts with Zaya. So I'm like, obviously I have dreams for her, aspirations for her. I don't want her to work hard to make her own money, etc., etc., etc. If she gets married, that's going to be between her and her husband and how they do the thing. But I and maybe the responsibilities on us as parents, and me particularly as a father, that we don't mess up our lives, that our children will always have a home in case things go awry for them, which we would not hope and don't pray and don't want. But it sucks, and especially where we live, we've seen countless women.
Literally at the doors of the church saying, I have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And with your kid, because some crazy man is like, this is my house.
Yeah. And even just with our families, you know, I'm like, we've seen countless women, bro. I'm like, who have been taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So that's the one side of this is my house, and how that is abused, and how that, I think, is a total extreme. But responsibilities for you, how does that look like?
So I think, and this is where, for me, it's I understand that situations work out differently, right?
Yes.
So everything I'm saying is coming from a place where you and I have an intention to have a healthy relationship. And I think most people, unless you've been trapped or whatever it is, or you've been forced, when you get married, you want this to work. So coming from a place of, I want this thing to thrive, it is what is best for our season of life right now. So I mean, when we got married, you are earning a steady income. I was a freelancing musician, and like, it's nice, you do a gig, here's 15K, and you're like, and then 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks go by, and you're like, and so I relied heavily on the fact that my husband's on, like, we know every month, like, stuff is paid, and there was that allowed me freedom to explore what I was doing. And then when things got nice and we were able to build whatever, then it's cute, it's fun, but ultimately I see it as, okay, cool, there's a pool of money, right? Where we know every month outside of the freelancing gigs or whatever the side stuff that we do, this is how much comes in. Sort of, and I know there are couples who like the spreadsheets, right? Like it's like, we're not like that. I would like, no, I wouldn't.
We both,
like, I feel like it's the right thing to do, but as an individual, I'm like, I don't want to do that.
fantasize about spreadsheets. And that's as far as we get when it comes to Excel sheets. It's like, this would be so amazing.
So nice.
Right?
So nice.
We've tried to implement systems.
I think we have our system now. And it could be better.
No. I think our system is refining systems. That's our system. Our system is like, okay, cool, we have an idea. This thing works. And no one between the two of us says, hey, I think this thing doesn't work. We just
fade out.
We
just fade out. And then we panic.
And then we're like, hey, come back. Okay, cool. That didn't work. Let's try this other thing. And then we're like, yeah. Our system is refining systems. That's
so my thing is make sure the bills are paid. So we split, but it's not the bills every month are 10 rand, yours are 5 rand. But it's more like,
no,
you take care of whatever
for the household.
Yeah, for the household, you take care of this and this and that. Yeah. So like I was thinking with the union waids, what are they? The waids, whatever. She mentioned splitting costs for the child, and in my head I'm like,
she did not want a union.
And on a practical level, like I was thinking about my situation, where I'm like, because I think like 10 steps, not even 10 steps ahead, because I'm obsessed with details, right? Yeah. It's just been natural that I take care of most of Zaya's stuff. Like the, school, clothes and all the things where you're like, hey, we need to go do hair, right? And so in my head, I'm like, so I was thinking about it practically. I'm like, so if this was me, I'd have to be like, hey, Black, Zaya's hair is 200. I need $100 so we can go.
So you can go 50-50.
Or like I send you a spreadsheet with the breakdown of what I spent this month, And for me, it's like, yeah.
Wow.
Like it's, so for me, I think, well, for us at least, it's a thing of saying, sorry, I'm taking long to get to the answer.
No.
It's a thing of saying, these are our monthly things that are not going away. You always need to buy groceries. You always need to pay for the place you stay. You always need fuel. I don't pour fuel because I don't like interacting with the garage. Yeah. It's not that I don't have money to do it. Yeah. So that is your job as Black. And I feel like as a woman, I just don't want to be in that kind of space, right? Yeah. So I'm like, that's just something you take care of. Yeah. However much we spend that month. Yeah. Yeah. And if you like run low, it's like, hey, can you fill up the tank? Or if I find it empty, I'm not like, Black didn't pay. No, it's just a thing of saying, come to the party. Yeah. We're living in a house and there's boring stuff we have to take care of every month. Yep. I hate grocery shopping, but I do it. And, life goes on. And then when we go out to eat, I mean, on practical level, sometimes you pay, sometimes I pay. It's not a thing unless it's like, oh, I'm taking you out on a date and I'm spoiling you. Yeah. Then it's like, don't worry about where this money comes from. Don't even look at the bill. I remember once going out, you took me out and I was like, how much is the bill? You're like, don't worry. Yeah. And I was really panicking. And I was trying to remember calculating in my head, what did you eat? Yeah. What is it on the menu? Right? And I think that's ideally how it works. It's just you come together, you live in your life, and then you both agree that we save, we invest, we put money towards this or this or that, and you live.
I think the responsibilities are informed by that bigger picture of what you define this thing to be. So if you define, like we said earlier on, marriages are coming together, are becoming one. So whether you have 2 accounts, like we have 2 accounts, or you have a joint account, right?
Do they still do joint accounts?
Angas. We've never had one. But I know couples have joint accounts.
In SA?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we know a couple who has a joint account.
I feel like we try, I don't know. I feel like I explored the joint account thing and somebody told me that but it doesn't matter. I was just curious if it's still a thing. Sorry if I sound super ignorant, but we're here now.
Hey, maybe I sound ignorant. But we know 2, or at least you forgot them. We know
Obviously
2 people.
I forgot.
So I think if you define marriage, which you should, as the coming together of 2 people to become one, and we building a life together, right? Determining what responsibilities you have is based on, assessing your limitations, your strengths, for the sake of achieving the becoming one, the coming together, the thing that you're building, right?
Yes.
So we've assessed our strengths, and I'm like, if we have a joint account, right, we sat and said, okay, what would be the strengths, what would be the weaknesses of that kind of system or going that way, and just some of the things were like, bro, like, it sounds stupid, but what if I wanted to buy you something and surprise you,
No, that was a very valid reason, because I love surprises. I don't want to see the SMS.
Somebody would be like, because then the counter of that is, what if you fall into temptation and then start, blowing money in
we need to talk about that.
Separate accounts.
Yeah.
But coming together, having a joint account will keep us accountable and responsible to be good stewards of, what our money is. I'm like, yeah, I see that. But there is a freedom that we thought we would not have, and not a freedom of wanting to go do stupid things, because again, then I think having defined what this thing is, the coming together, what marriage is, I don't want to put our family in jeopardy. I don't want to put us as a couple in jeopardy, So I'm like, the freedom I'm speaking of is the freedom of having to say, hey, listen, I'm hanging out with Grace, and I'm just gonna, feel like I want to love on Grace and buy the coffee today, right? Sometimes, at least for us, I know having a joint account would mean that I don't know, because you panic. If I'm just swiping for coffee.
Yeah, I think that would stress me out.
You'd be like, what the hell? Or you just bought sweets at the garage. Okay, you just...
Like, you have bought 12 coffees.
You bought 12 coffees.
What is happening?
Right? and that would freak you out.
Yes.
That would never give you freedom. That's going to be hard for you. So the thing that we've done to counter that is that we just have to talk. Right? So the I think the system of having a joint account to keep us accountable is going to kill us, because it's going to increase your anxiety, and it's going to, not allow me to have the 12 coffees with different people. But instead, we'll say, okay, cool, 12 coffees are ridiculous, Black. Don't do that, right? So maybe you could do 6, but I tell you ahead. Or when I've bought the coffee, hey, I bought the coffee today, so I have 5 more. Right, cool. So then you also like, right, cool, I see that. So I think the thing that we've done to mitigate that is talk.
Yeah. Which
for us has enriched our communication, because I think we've realized and I think this is a universal principle, bro. I don't think this is a subjective thing. I think if you're married, you have to talk. You have to grow in your communication. You have to be always in tune with the other person. And I'm not saying like I'm always knowing what you're thinking and doing, but I think communication kind of opens up room for us to grow.
Yeah.
And so finding opportunities to do that and not just talk when it's the romance or talk when we're fighting. And so even, the finance thing, I think has helped us, to just open up more space for our communication. So I know that I'm not just going to go blow money on 12 coffees without asking, without talking to you. And I use that word very intentionally.
Yeah.
I am asking. It's permission. It's our money. It's not just my money, right? Ultimately, it's God's money, yes. But it's our money, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm like, maybe more, but right now in my head, 3 things. The definition of what this thing is informs your responsibilities. Then practically decide what those would look like for you as a couple, joint accounts, separate accounts, whether this one is paying for the bond, this one is paying for the car, that one is paying for the school fees, whatever the thing is. Come up with those practicalities that I think are informed by your definition of what this thing is that you both agreeing that you're going to do together, and then find ways to mitigate whatever the cons are for a system that you've taken as opposed to a system that you could have taken. Find what the pros are, and I think lastly, the third thing is then how do they benefit your marriage, right? So for me, that's because I'm like, yeah, we can say, no, don't do that, But there should be something that I think that holds all of this together.
No, there has to be. So yeah, that was very eloquently put.
Come on,
Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, that's me.
But
Book me for your next gig.
Yes, please do. Because his money is my money. So, and I mean, yeah, that's, I think those like steps, and you sort of thinking through that.
Yeah.
And in as much as, like you said, we do, because I do fantasize about being the spreadsheet people. Yeah. But also, as the seasons have gone, because also what has informed, or what will inform you, or what inform us, is also where you are at that life stage. So if it's like, okay, cool, we are trying to buy a new whatever, or we're saving towards this, or whatever, you know what I mean? I need to start an account for my kid so that, you know, by the time she's 21, like those conversations where it's like, okay, cool, what is the landscape of our finances looking like? But to be honest with you, like, I don't need you to know how many speckled eggs I bought this week. Like, that's just not.
How many did you buy?
I only bought 2, which we shared, and you were there.
Was I?
Okay, like certain things is just, you know, but for me, my thing is, maybe like I said, it'll change. It's like, okay, cool. Are we putting money away? Are we putting money to grow? Are we investing in whatever it is? Even if it's like we bought a piece of equipment or whatever, based on what we need to do. Are we making sure that there's no debt? Because you know how debt makes me itch. Because the only I think gives me anxiety. Like, So, and Black, is your stuff covered? My stuff is covered. Okay, cool. You know, great. Some months are more challenging than others, you know.
And by stuff, you mean the responsibilities we need to take care of for the household, for the family.
You know what I mean? And I think that's like super important, because I don't want to be sitting there going and finding out 6 months down the line, oh, Black, you haven't been paying this thing. What's going on? And I think that brings me to the next thing where I'm like, so this is obviously when things are ideally working, this is how I think it would be like great. And then add the spreadsheet on top of that. And you know, where every single cent goes, right? Like, you're there, right? But then I do think, and I think this is also where you as a person who's dating or getting married, whatever, and even in the marriage, like the upbringings and the conditionings that you have around money and how it can affect your household. That one is a touchy subject, because so like I look at you and I, where my upbringing was, you know, my mom stuff was covered. Like my mom would, like you'd go and you compare prices in the shop, and it's everything from that to like the big stuff, and you know, making sure that school fees is paid half beginning of the year. And
that's why I don't like grocery shopping with you.
And that's why I prefer to do it alone. Because then I can go through all the
I ain't trying to compare no prices for eggs. Just buy the eggs.
No, you can't just buy the eggs.
Just buy.
Sometimes the price
the first
difference between
eggs I see when I walk in, we buy.
You know when you've come home with the 6 eggs? Like, the thing, I'm like, how dare you?
I know.
Like, why would you come home?
Well, I know afterwards. It's not like I go in and I haven't bought 6 eggs in a minute.
I know, but like the few times when that has happened. But, and so my upbringing has been, you know, sort yourself out. I mean,
you come from a family of spreadsheets, Bella.
But my mom's not no, my mom she was a receipt mom. She was.
No, I'm saying not even at home. Like, that's their job.
Oh, yeah. No, the accountants. Yeah. Dad was an accountant. Mom's an accountant. And then there's me.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing was, so I come from this framework where you plan. And also, it's also that thing of like, you know, if you want something, rather wait and get the thing you want with cash, or you know, or like don't get like a interim thing, just, you know, whatever it is, right? But then my instincts as Lily, I just want to spend. Like, I'm just like, let's spend. Not that bad, right? But I think when we came together, I was like, oh no, this guy's bad. Like, because you were like living your life, and I think it was a thing where, when we came in, I realized that I need to employ what I've been taught. Otherwise, we're just gonna like party until you know.
I said this in an episode that I would be broke if I wasn't married to you.
Yeah, you did say that. And not because you weren't making money, just because you would have spent it on people and gone to see people in Benoni.
Yeah. And Amanskral and Mpumalanga.
You know.
Hit me up if you're from somewhere in Free State. I'll come see you.
He probably will.
I will.
Please don't write in a comment
Send
that
me a
Black can we do
DM.
coffee, because he's gonna come.
I will drive to Free State to come hang out with you.
You can't now. There's crazy people out there.
Listen, I have a kid now.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, my child needs a dad.
Yeah.
But I do think the impact of how you've been taught about money will then definitely inform how you go forward and how you sort of do. So I'm even thinking, like, for men who've been taught you have to provide, you have to. Now you come up and it's like, I have to be this guy even if I'm drowning in debt.
Sure,
I will never say we can't afford this thing.
Sure, bro.
We are. You know what I mean? Like, that's weakness.
Yeah.
You know. And so even though I talk about when we got married and, you know, I was this musician but that was like it was a shift for me, because I had been brought up to be like, babes, you need to have your story straight.
Got a spreadsheet, son.
You need to have your story straight. You know, but I think, and I think that's just, eventually, we worked it out, whatever. But I don't know, maybe you can sort of share like how, because I think it's something where you don't realize you're operating from a place of training, of how you've been trained, until you're faced with it. Like you don't realize that, oh, this is what my dad did or my mom did. Or sucks, I grew up in a house where people didn't save, and maybe that's like, it's just until you're actually faced with the thing.
The crazy thing for me is how we don't go there first. Like to our upbringing.
Oh, right.
Like we'll think, I'm just bad with money because I failed accounting at school.
Yes.
I wasn't good with maths. Or where I'm like, I think the first place to go to is seeing how you were taught to handle money. And somebody might say, but they didn't teach me. No, they did. And that's the crazy thing, that there wasn't a formal, this is how we use money in this house.
Yeah.
But one, seeing how money was spent, or even the lack of money, and then some of the narratives and beliefs you started adapting because you didn't have money, right? So I think that's a major thing. For me, it's mine, and it's the spreadsheet fantasizer in me that wishes I had a bunch of accountants, but because that's clean. Like mine is wonky
it's a lot happening,
colorful, and as my story is, where like when my family was still together, like what I saw was a very clear respect for money. It wasn't an idolatry towards money, but there was a clear respect for money, because my family comes, we always say humble beginnings, but I'm like, I know what humble beginnings are. Again, parents meet as teens, have me when my dad is 20, mom is 15. They started building their lives. Yeah,
from literal nothing.
So we like lived at my grandmother's house. But the thing that was great about my family was, like, my dad would sit the three of us down to then say, hey, this is where we're at. This is where we're dreaming of going. And we'd all dream together. This is where we're dreaming of going. This is what it's going to take for us to get there. Okay? So we're going to buy the, what's the thing? The Peace in Our Island t-shirts. Right? So we're not going to get Christmas clothes because we don't have money. And we're saving the little money we have because we're going to go get a house, right? So we start off living at my grandmother's house. We moved to a shack, right? There was an informal settlement that had just popped up. This is like 95. We like one of the first residents there, right? From there, we moved to a garage, and then we moved to our first house, right? But this whole time, like, we're dreaming together, we're planning together. So I'm seeing the value of money.
You're seeing an actual progression.
I'm seeing an actual progression. I'm seeing how, if you're just disciplined, But it was never, we didn't have spreadsheets. And again, maybe it's just because, it's our makeup. I think my dad is smart. I think my mom is smart. But we clowns, we colorful people, we loud and so I don't, we had something. My dad had files, but anyway, so there's that. I'm seeing the value of money. I'm respecting money. I see what it can get you, etc., etc. And then we continue progressing, right? Buy a second house. We have 2 houses. We're getting cars. Okay, things are cool, right?
Bowling.
Yeah, right? There was a point where it was like, all right, dog, we made it, right? Which is dope. But at no point am I sitting there thinking, okay, I feel pressure of keeping spreadsheets. I thought it would be a lovely thing. And then obviously the breakdown happens. Yeah. My parents divorce. And then we went from we living well, comfortably, we stable, to, yes, bro, we just like scraping for anything, right? And then years later, I remember it was just after varsity, had a conversation with my dad, and then he confessed this. I didn't ask him, and I forgot how we got to the thing, but he made a comment about how well my mother could handle money. And how, when we were still together, like he found so much value in seeing how my mother can handle money, right? So now that's shocking to me, because when we were together and I was a kid, I just thought, my dad is handling everything.
Yeah, because he was the one with the job.
He was the one with the great job. Yeah. He's leading the fam, blah, blah, blah. So now, behind the scenes, I'm like, oh, smack. Like, my mother was actually, like, moving the checks, right?
Yeah.
Making sure that the fam is good. And so then I was like, okay. That's one that was just like a crazy revelation personally to see that. But then I'm like, Jux, bro, the mother I know, the version I know of her, is after, like when it comes to money. It's after the divorce.
I see. Well, okay, I got you.
Right?
Oof,
and after the divorce, like it was just, again, we were all scraping, and it just seemed like, okay, like there's just no good handle of money here. We're like, what are we doing? And there's so little now compared to where we were, and it feels like we're not making much of this little. And so then, yeah, I think I then didn't get into adulthood with this is how money is going to be handled. I knew what it can give you, and I was just like, man, I'm just going to live, bro. I didn't consciously make that decision, but I think, and I don't know how true this is, but part of me, I don't know how true it is that it was affected by how I grew up. Maybe it is, but part of me is just like, money gives me stress, man.
Wow.
It gives, like, I want to make money.
So wait, what do you mean, like the idea of, what do you mean? Like, do you mean the
idea of having to sit down and deal with it and move it and
oh no, yeah, okay, I'm sorry,
that gives me stress.
Because you're kind of like, you said that if you could just not have to engage with this, you'd be like a happy person,
bro.
And I'm like, nah, dude.
if I have ambitions to make a lot of money, right? People normally think, I want to make a lot of money because, it can afford me the lifestyle. I'm like, so I could pay an accountant, bro. Like, I want to make money to pay an accountant. So I have to deal with it. Yeah. So I'm like, it's not because initially it's going to afford me freedoms and whatever. I'm like, it's just so that I can have an accountant, have a tax guy, damn, bro, take care of all that stuff, ne? And it's fine. Like, I feel like saying, tax man, in fact, in my head, let's say I win $1 billion now. $1 billion rand.
You win $1 billion.
I mean, I'm not going to make $1 billion today. The only way $1 billion falls out of the sky is if my mother has been hiding some inheritance.
Yeah.
Or
I would
win.
often fantasize of that. Like, maybe there's a dead person.
Yeah. That's why me and my mother fantasized about Oprah being my real mother. Like, that was our thing.
And we know someone who that happened to, though. Well, it wasn't billions, but...
and maybe I was like, Oprah is a child.
No.
I am Oprah's child.
No, he found out that there was like an uncle who died and left him money, and he used that money to buy a car. I was like, that's my dream.
Nice. We know that person.
Yeah.
Wow, you'll tell me afterwards.
I will.
Come give me money. We know you. So if I win $1 billion today, right, this is what's going to happen. I win $1 billion vandaag. I'm like, hey, Lillian, here's $1 billion. Here's $1 billion. Ne?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to walk with you to go get an accountant and a tax guy. Ne? And I'll give them my number and my email. Ne? Anything else, you two guys talk to this girl. Send me emails and maybe WhatsApps. I don't know if accountants send WhatsApps. And then
that's if you read your WhatsApps, but that's a conversation for another day.
I'll have $1 billion. I have time to read WhatsApps.
Okay.
And then we'll see each other in the sunset. Sitting down and dealing but as a husband, I have to. As a husband, I have to engage with it.
And I think I was going to say, because I think the avoidance thing actually makes things worse.
It does.
Because the only way to progress with money is to be conscious about what you're doing.
You need to play with it.
So if you're avoiding and just like,
because that's also training.
Swipe.
I'm training myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it was a thing where when we got married, I was like, oh, flip.
Yeah.
But I think I only realized what it was when you told me that, no, it's not that like I'm bad with money. I just want to deal with it, which then does make you bad with money.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And even saying that it's not like because I feel like people take it as like it's an insult or you like, I'm like,
it's just the truth.
It's if you've been taught wrong. And again, it's not that the teaching of this is what we do. It's just if your demonstration, right? It's the whole nature, nurture, whatever thing. It's like, hey, dude, I think it was that thing where I'm like, okay, cool. Like, so even though it was fun to a degree, like we tell that story of our first like couple of months of marriage, having our last $50 and we went to buy sourworms. We were like, Black, there's $50 left and payday is in like 2 days. Let's go buy sourworms.
Yeah. I mean,
it was fun.
We have food in the house.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what I mean? But would we do that again now? No. Yeah.
It's okay.
But it's just, so I'm like, there was a fun aspect, but I think it was like, shucks, we need to live, we need to progress, we need to elevate. And so we have to sort of talk about the stuff. And I think the cool thing was at least you were willing to participate in whatever way, you know what I mean? And not be destructive in like, how this guy, it's 1 week in and the money's gone already, what's going on? And, you know, because I think that also then becomes an issue when there's like this secret big spending. Where you're like, hey.
But we know people who just come home with a new car and you're like,
every time
you left this house driving a Toyota, you came back with a Lexus, and you didn't even say.
Every time, and I think this is why I'm like, okay, maybe when we're in like crazy millionaire status, it'll be like a thing. But every time I see these posts where it's like, oh, my husband surprised me with a new car, all I can think of is, so
who's
like, was it like cash he had? Is there like, is it maybe through the business?
Which account?
Like, cause in my head I'm like, and unfortunately I think it's my anxiety as well. If you came and surprised me with a vehicle, I'd be like, how are you paying for this?
No, but I told you, if I come with a car, I told you, if I just rock up with a car, the first thing you're supposed to ask me, where the lotto office is. Yes. Which lotto office?
Oh yeah, you did say that's what you're doing.
I am not coming with a car, girl, for share.
I'll be stressed. You're gonna stress me out if you do that.
Forget it, bro. Ask what lotto I played or where did my mother. Yeah. Maybe that's the day I confess that Vele Oprah is my mother.
Oh gosh.
Right? Anyway.
I think ultimately it's like the view, I believe, as a married couple dealing with money is remembering that what is this going to do for my family? So even if you are like, what's the impact this decision is going to have on my family? So even if you are like, I want to make this big purchase, whatever the case may be, I think it is important to have that discussion because there will be an impact. You know what I mean? There will be like we have our good friends who we love who the wife
come back home with Lexus
yes.
and Ferraris.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that, where I'm like, I'm sitting there going, sure, but like, what does this mean? Because now he was left thinking, hey, bro, like, how are we paying for this? What's going on? And everybody's stressed. You know what I mean? And I think it's just a thing of, if ideally, again, in an ideal setting, I think a healthy intention should be like, yeah, I go out, I make my money, I'm living with, but I'm building my family. At least like that's my view. So even though, yes, I am, like, I was brought up to be independent and to work, and I want to work. I like the feeling of producing stuff and the reward of earning. But ultimately, when I think for myself, it's how is this going to elevate my family? Yeah. And what am I teaching my daughter? What am I, and what do I want her to know? Right. Yeah. And I know it's not for everyone. You know what I mean? I know like they are. And again, I'm like, I don't sit there looking at housewives in like a judgy, oh, how can you not work? Because let me be honest.
That would be evil, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think when I was pregnant with Zaya, that was when I was like, and like, I get this thing of just wanting to not work. Because like from the time I was pregnant and after having her, because I'm like, it's a lot. Yeah. There's a point where I'm like, shucks, this is a lot. Yeah. But again, because of my own personal dreams and desires and whatever, it's just not something that I would do. But I'm like, I've seen situations where there is a woman who doesn't work outside the home and the man works, and it's so healthy and it's good. But unfortunately, I have to be honest, I haven't seen many of them, especially in the Black community. I actually, honestly, I can't think of anyone in the Black community, including our friends, families, extended, where that has been positive. I'm sure it exists. I've only actually seen it work out in like amongst white people, and I'm not sure what that is, but I'm like, and maybe it's just our own brokenness as a people. But I've seen it not work out more often than not. And maybe there is, no, not maybe, there is a fear, like in as much as yes, I want to work, I want to do this, but I can't lie that there is, because of what I've seen, there's definitely a fear of like, but if this guy decides to bounce, and not to say like I'm
consciously
I'm planning for the worst, but I think because I've seen it, I would be lying to say that like when I heard of my aunt whose husband was like, get out of my house after she had businesses and he told her to give all of that up, and she left with bags, and she had houses before that. I'm like, flip. So I can't deny that there is that, and life is life. But ultimately, when I'm engaging with you, I'm sitting there going, okay, cool, what will this decision mean from my family? What will this decision mean? And sometimes it's just like, if I get a check from somewhere, I'm like, I can buy Black this thing that he's been wanting. Like that's, and that's also like just fun, but ultimately it's like, it's the benefit of the household, the marriage, the family, and not just our physical family, like as in our nucleus, whatever, the three of us. But I mean like, our extended family, our sisters, our mothers, like what does this mean? Going
which is
out.
Probably where we should land the conversation. Around the question of Black tax. But I was gonna say, to comment on what you're saying now, it's an even small, very practical thing is changing the language of how you speak about, money. So because now you were saying, I go out to make money, or I'm making my money, for my family, and I'm like, I think the sentiment is good, but the language would probably help in reinforcing the sentiment. So I'm going to work for our money, it's like
you're right, I should do that. Because when I think of your money, I think of it as I'm like, great, Black got this gig, what are we gonna buy?
Your money.
No, I'm
is
kidding.
your money.
I'm kidding. I hear
my
you.
money is our money. So I'm just saying it's a small detail, but I think it also just helps mentally to reinforce that sentiment. Whoever, the motive is to want to work for us.
Yes.
But I should always think of money as our money. Again, ultimately it's God's money, but He's given it to us. And this is for our family. This is what we're building together. And I think that just reinforces the thing, and it helps how we handle our money, So I think the language thing is quite key. and maybe before we move to black tax, I think again communication, man. Speak, bro.
Yeah.
Talk about your upbringings. I think, you're not gonna fully engage in how somebody was brought up before you get married. I think that's what part of marriage is, that you living together now. You have room for you to talk about your upbringing in full. But at least
to see it work out in the personalities and okay.
But at least get a sense, So we're dating. Hey man, let's talk about how you were brought up when it comes to money. You might identify some red flags on both sides and then say, hey, what are we intentionally putting in place as we get into marriage to kind of mitigate those things, and fight against certain habits that have been developed, because sometimes people, hey Buffett, you're out here casting spirits of poverty, but
you are the spirit.
Yeah. And the thing is, you just haven't had money in previous generations that you could handle to teach yourself on how to make or even lose money, right? I heard somebody speak about how their wealth afforded them to learn how to lose money. And we think, how could you?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I had money to play with it so that I can lose it, know how it feels like, first of all, the psychology of losing money, and then how do we bounce back, how do we build,
Yes.
But for some of us who kind of grew up with some money, no money, right?
Or for me, it was like we need to make sure,
Yeah.
because the money
Maintain.
could go. Like, we need
Maintain.
to fill those coffers up, right?
Yes.
Anything can happen.
Maintain, right? So
Preparing for catastrophe.
yeah. Qatar. Preparing to go to World Cup Qatar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Preparing.
Yeah, they go to Dubai and Qatar.
What?
Yeah.
Preparing for
Catastrophe.
Yeah, that was hard.
Catastrophize.
Anyway, yeah. Sorry, please continue.
Catastrophe. Anyway, I think then not having money to play with so that you can learn how to handle money, obviously is a big factor as well in how you treat money now, the psychology you have with money. 2 books I would recommend, right, that I think are helpful. Am I applying the principles all the time? No. Have we kind of, to some extent, but the psychology of money was a dope one, and how to handle your money like a
If grown up.
Yes, MF Grown Up.
And that's a local chick. Yeah, that's a really good book.
Yes, because some of these books you're like, but now I have to think, dog, about dollars. But
what's a 401k?
Yeah, some of the tech stuff is not the same in America.
Yeah.
But this one is local, speaks in rands.
She changed my view on a lot of the stuff that I thought were like investments and good signs of success, and I was like, snap. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
And she understands the South African context, the culture, the nuances of our history, some of our struggles with coming from families who don't have money. So she speaks into that quite well. And maybe a third one, I just thought of it now. Was it Managing God's Money? Randy.
That's a thick book that I never read.
There's
the thick one.
No, it's the same as. I think we have a copy.
Okay,
Anyway, but that was also, I think that's also a dope one to consider, and that's really helpful. But my thing was there. I think just talk of it. Kulumani, speak about the thing. Before you get married, while you're married, and part of what this journey of becoming is undoing some of those habits, learning new ones, appreciating each other's struggles.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite cool hearing you say that you empathized with me when I told you just about my stresses and fear of handling money. When I felt that, I knew that, but you've never confessed it the way you did now, articulated it that way. But I think that also helped you to not think, but this guy though, he just wants to have coffee with the world and not actually deal with the thing. He's actually struggling with something.
But it also helped me to fill in the gaps and not. So I think what it did was I could fill in the gaps, right? and not make you feel bad about it.
Yes.
Or make you feel like I'm taking over. Or it was just like, we're a team.
Yeah.
This isn't an area that like I'm going to do the best in, right? But I'm learning whatever. And you weren't like, I'm just going to bulldoze and be the, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it just, I don't know. It just was like okay, cool. I'll sort this out. Like I'll figure this out. When I open a bank account, I'm the person who reads those 12 million documents.
Yeah.
I'll read the fine print.
Yeah. I'm just like, how much is this thing gonna cost? Where do I sign?
I remember, randomly, there was a time when like people's accounts were, I think it still happens, we're getting scammed with like the 99 Rand deductions. It happened to you. It happened to Sunny. It happened to a couple of people. And I remember when you told me, and I was like, please go cancel that. And you're like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, this man. And then like 3 months later, I'm like, Black, did you call the bank to stop? Oh yeah. And I remember being so frustrated because I'm like, this is how the scammers are winning. Because there's a bunch of people who are like, oh yeah, I'll sort it out. And I remember saying, by the end of the year, that 99 Rand is 1.2 that you've just given away. And like, it was just driving me nuts. But I realized that you just like the admin and the whole thing, But sorry, there was something I wanted to say when you said about your, like how you view money and sorry, your what? Can't remember, but like the upbringing and all situation and how it informs. I remember being at a performance like years ago, back when people used to buy physical CDs, and we're in Cape Town, and
guys, that's less than 10 years ago, but it feels like
the last CD I sold was in 2020.
Yeah, I know, but
and that was like the dying.
Yeah, no, there was like a horse that's panting for water. And has blisters and it's dying very slowly.
Yeah, anyway. But hopefully in like another 15 years, it will be like a cool novelty thing.
You'll have to buy a CD player for 100,000.
Yeah, like how people are buying
vinyls.
Exactly.
And vinyl players.
So I'm going to keep my 300 CDs. Yeah. So anyway, and so we do this event. It was a university end of year thingy. So there was a guy speaking. Yes. And he was promoting his book, and then I performed. And at the time, I didn't have a card machine thing. So he had a card machine. So he was like, listen, he did this combo thing where you'd get his book and my CD, but he made his book less. I think he was just trying to support me. I didn't pick it up at the time, but like, cool. So then he sells everything through his little card machine. Yeah. And then now I'm like trying to do the calculations because he's like, okay, just do what the calculation is, and then I'll send you how much the money is. And so I was doing that, and I was getting a bit confused because I was now including like the charges, and he was like, and I remember he just said to me, just give me the amount, it's okay, it's only money. And that statement rocked me. Oh yeah, this was in relation to what you're saying about the guy about losing money and the freedom. I was like, it's only money.
Freedom.
And like, because I'm thinking he's going to check how many CDs I came with, see how many I sold to make sure I'm not dropping him. He's like, just give me the amount. It's only money. And that stayed with me forever because while you have mentioned that like you didn't want to deal with money, it doesn't generally make me anxious, but there's an anxiety around it because I think it's my thing of you need to have a plan. Anything can happen, and I always feel like I'm not doing enough, right? But that thing was of like it's only money, because then I'd be crippled to, like, I'm the person looking at the gene going, one is 199, one is 189. What is the difference? Where's this 10 Rand going? And I have to.
How many stitches am I paying?
Okay, this one has a little pocket. Okay, but this and then I have to go, it's only money. Yeah. And I think there's a good place where you shouldn't be bound, and feel trapped and like, because money is supposed to serve you, right? Like it's not supposed to be like,
you're not supposed to serve
exactly,
it. Exactly.
But sure, that thing was.
And that statement could be taken, other way. So it's just money, therefore we want to waste it.
Blow it.
And just, whatever. Or it's just money because I understand the freedoms. I don't say the freedom because then it means that money ultimately gives us freedom, and I don't believe that. But the freedoms that money can't give us, the privileges that money can't give us, which is where I rest but I don't have money. But that's like I don't have the money that will give me those kind of privileges and freedoms now, because that's my thing. I wanna say, yo man, let's go on a holiday with a bunch of our friends, right? Why? Because I appreciate relationship. I think it's just gonna be doping in this kind of setting with these people. I think it will be dope if we're there and we have this kind of food. I think it's gonna be amazing if we're there and we go do this activity. But all of that requires money.
Yeah.
I wanna have money so that I can say all of that, because I'm prioritizing the relationship, the connection, the bond, the fellowship, etc., and I don't want it to be an inconvenience for anybody else.
Yes.
I don't want to say, yo, Lily, let's go, and you're like, hey, but girl,
you don't have to say, hey guys, the accommodation is this much. Everyone needs to contribute 333 rand, 33 cents.
And somebody thinks, yeah, but that's life. It's supposed to be like that. It's just,
it would be nice if,
And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But the part of me that just is like, I've struggled a lot in life. Can I not just struggle by when I want to really have good things in life, like fellowship of it? I'm not saying I want to buy my friends Ferraris, but I want to be able to. Another friend of mine was like, dog, I'm going to work hard. And that dude is going to kill it. I'm going to work hard, make gang loads of money, right? Right? Why? It's because I want to support churches and missionaries, bro. I'm like, bro. Yeah. Just like, he's like, I want to make.
So honorable also.
No. Sure. Sure, obviously.
No, I get you. No, I'm saying like the idea is like he's got a goal and that's just what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But and he's like, I'm going to get to the point where that's what I can do.
And so he gets the thing. It's our missionaries and churches not in a struggle, right? You suffering as you're doing that work. So he's not romanticizing killing. He's not, and I'll say that he's not like, oh, we're gonna eradicate poverty. I'm like, that's a cool idea, and I think yes, we should try and help. But are we gonna get rid of poverty? And I'm like, I don't think that's gonna happen this side of heaven. I think we might lessen the thing. What does
the Bible say about poor people always being with us?
Yeah, that's Jesus.
Yeah, bro.
I'm like, we might decrease the thing, but I don't think we'll ever get rid of suffering completely, right? He's not romanticizing taking suffering away from missionaries and churches. He's not. But he understands the freedom it can afford them to do the work they're doing. Yeah. Right? I understand the freedoms money can give us. I'm like, even if, sure, you might think, and it's fine if you think me wanting to go hang out with my friends is a selfish thing because I want it. It's okay. It's okay.
How? It's fine for you to want it.
No, it's fine, because somebody might think, how is it serving? Which I'm going to tell you, this is how it's serving other people, because I have friends who probably want a holiday but can't afford it.
Yeah.
I want to have gang loads of money to just be, where do you wanna go? Okay, here you go, I'm fine. I'm not saying in any way I'm gonna get rid of all your debts and your struggles, and you're gonna have struggles.
Yeah.
But when you wanna go on a holiday, can I be able to afford to say here so I can alleviate some part of your struggle? Yes. That's why I wanna stand and say, girl, chill man, money is just money.
It's only money.
It's only money, girl. Call my accountant and my tax
You can
guy.
get an accountant, Blackens.
You see, even that.
You literally can just go to the bank.
I feel like right now I'm like, really? With my salary?
If you want us to get an accountant.
Anyway. It's okay. We are flipping systems. That's our system. And I'm waiting for our next refinement. Anyway.
I'd call Black. It's only money.
Yeah. The money we have now.
I would like to get to that place where I can say that with stillness and peace, but also a lot of savings and lots of investment and zero debt. It's only money.
It's only.
But I think my parting thing would be like, I would just, because, going back to what I said earlier on, because we know how money troubles destroy marriages, right? Have destroyed, like, because it's usually when, actually no, it's when there's a lot and when there's a little, right?
Yeah.
It's the stress of money. It's the finding out that, some bills haven't been paid, or you've been giving somebody money, and why you always giving your brother money and all that stuff. I would just encourage.
None of us are brothers.
No, we don't. Not biological ones, at least. I would just encourage, like everyone, like who is in a married situation, like who's building life with someone, like just be honest. I think it's like, there's no shame in your game, guys. Like, just say this is where I'm at.
Cheers, again. No shame in your game.
I didn't make it up.
I know, but cheers.
Yeah, but I'm just like, rather, because you don't want to make decisions now that are gonna, potentially destroy what you're trying to build 5 years down the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there's freedom in just saying, yo, this is what it is, or this is where I'm at, or this is, and because we deal with money every single day,
sure, bro,
there's no way you can have that conversation once and say we're done. Like, you're gonna have it again
till you die,
when your husband has bought 12 coffees, and you're like, if you bought a plunger and
walked around with a plunger, get to Starbucks and be like, yo man, thanks for the Wi-Fi. Hey Mandla, can you please take my plunger and make some coffee?
I was really proud of you when you bought yourself a plunger for the office instead of buying coffees. I was like, yay.
Yeah.
Like,
yes. But
and it's like a cute little one.
Yeah, those coffees accumulate, son.
Yeah, no, they do. Like, I'm not joking about the coffees, bro. I remember doing a tally, and I think it was like $400 on coffee.
Like, what
in like 10 days.
Is this?
Yeah, it's wild. But anyway,
accumulate, son.
That's just my parting.
Speaking
of
thought. Accumulation, Lillian, I mentioned that we need to chat about black tax.
Oh yes.
My thoughts on black tax have changed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember what they were before, but ooh.
So, even I feel uncomfortable even calling it black tax.
Okay, so maybe we pick this up.
Yes, so
that's a lot. That's loaded.
We need to pick it up. So it's gonna be part 2 of this.
Okay.
This chat.
All right.
Because that's, I think, in the 2 things kill marriages mostly, sex and money. In the category of money, black tax is a very big thing.
No, it's huge.
If your name was tax, we'd be black tax.
That is brilliant.
It's so amazing.
That is the most amazing thing I've heard.
It's out of all
the world.
Amazing ideas, I have this one. Yeah.
Black tax.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I love it.
Is there no Greek meaning in your name that means tax?
Greek meaning?
What's your name? Persian.
You know what? Let's go.
Where's your name from? It's in the Bible. Lily of the Valley.
I mean, I don't. Like, now
is your name Hebrew? What's your
guys? Thank you for. What are you doing? Thank you for watching, everybody. I don't know what this man is saying because I'm panicking because I'm actually like, what language is Lily in anyway? So I don't have answers for you. I do know, but I don't remember.
People out there, tell us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Yo, man, please pay your bills, subscribe and like, so that we could pay our bills. Hit the notification
Subscribing
bell.
is free, so
yes, please,
and hit the notification so you know when we post.
Rakombela.
You know.
And if you have big people where you work, tell them to come for sponsorships. Funny mal, funny that.
Okay. I feel like we've been ending this for like a minute now.
I love you.
I love you too. Peace out, people.